Hi, my name is Claire McCoy, and this is my presentation video. My presentation was on international adoption. I'm going to include some of my information in this video from my presentation. In April of 1999, Laura Blitzer, a 41-year-old single university professor, decided to adopt a child. 15 months later, the native of Brooklyn, New York, was in Hunan Province, China, holding her 9-month-old adoptive daughter, Sydney, for the very first time. It was amazing to have her in my arms. I still cry when I see the tape of her being given to me, recalled Blitzer. I couldn't believe she was all mine. 2007, Blitzer applied to adopt another child from China. 6 years later, she is still waiting to adopt a child. The estimate right now for me to receive a healthy infant is in 2017, she said. After decades of steady and continuous growth, the amount of international adoptions has dropped nearly 50% since 2004. The number of international adoptions is lower than ever despite the well-publicized explosion of adoptions from China during the 1990s and the adoptions featured in the media, for example, by celebrities such as Angelina Jolie from Cambodia. The decline isn't due to a decline in the number of orphans worldwide, nor a decline in demand from prospective parents, experts say. It is due to the rising regulations and growing sentiment in countries such as China against sending orphans abroad. The number of children finding new homes in the United States, the #1 location for adopting children, fell to 8,668 in 2012, after peaking at 22,888 in 2004, according to the U.S. State Department of Statistics. As international adoption rates fall, there is one country that is sending more children abroad: the United States. No country likes that it's not tending to all of its own children, and I think a lot of Americans are surprised that we are one of those countries sending children, said Adam Pertman, Executive Director of the Donaldson Adoption Institute and author of the book Adoption Nation. The United States adopts more children internationally, but also domestically, than the rest of the world combined, Pertman said. After viewing the United States in its current international and domestic adoption statistics, let's view China. With the opening of China and Russia in the 1990s, international adoption exploded. 410,000 children were adopted by citizens of over 27 different countries between 2000 and 2010. In China, it was the discovery of the impact of the one-child policy, says Susan Cogman, publisher of Adoptive Families magazine. Chinese orphanages were then filled with abandoned infants, in which a majority were girls. This was due to the fact that boys were preferred by families in China after the implementation of the one-child policy. However, the door to international adoption in China is currently beginning to narrow. In May of 2007, China instituted new rules for foreign adoptions. The new rules at first prohibited single people and those over the age of 50 from adopting a child. 2011, single women were again allowed to adopt, but only children with special needs, mostly those with physical disabilities. Single women must sign a form that they are not a homosexual if they are wanting to adopt a child. China also now prohibits adoptions to foreigners who are morbidly obese or have facial deformities. People who have taken antidepressants for serious mental disorders the past 2 years are also not eligible to adopt a child, as well as applicants who are blind, have schizophrenia, or a terminal disease. Couples must be married for at least 2 years unless either person has been previously divorced, in which case they are not eligible to adopt until 5 years after their wedding. China also now requires prospective families to have an annual income equal to $10,000 per family member and at least $80,000 in assets. The new rules and regulations were considered necessary to protect the best interests of the children, as foreign demand for children was higher due to the increase in number of orphans. The new rules ensure adopters are able to offer Chinese children adopted the best possible environment to grow in. Adoption agencies at the time predicted that stricter adoption requirements would reduce the number of applications. The new rules will also help decrease the waiting time for qualified foreigners and speed up the process for children, especially the disabled, so that they can go to their new families where they can get a better education and better medical treatment more quickly. However, aside from these claims, that has not been the case. China remains the #1 source of adoptive children, but by 2011, the number of Chinese children adopted by foreign families had dropped by half compared to 2007. According to China's Ministry of Civil Affairs, the number of orphans is increasing. It has increased to 92,000 in 2011, which is almost a 50% rise from 2004. As the number of orphans increase, China continues to slow down international adoptions. That is just a little portion of the new regulations that China is implementing regarding foreign adoptions. And in conclusion, the increase in the number of orphans is continuing to rise. However, very difficult and very strict regulations are permitting a large number of people from becoming parents to these children. Ask yourself these questions. Are these strict regulations truly keeping the child's best interests in mind by heavily decreasing the number of people even eligible to adopt a child? Or are these regulations and rules extremely valid when considering the child's well-being? Is it better for a child to remain in an orphanage than belong to a family that does not meet these high and strict standards exactly? Should the standards and regulations be revised so more people can be eligible to adopt and therefore have less children in orphanages? Thank you.